Red cow. We're talking about the red cow, the red para, female cow. They call it the red heifer. And the red heifer is one of the strangest laws in Judaism. There's a lot of strange laws. This is one of the ultimately strange laws. One of the reasons it's strange is because it is understood by no one. It's almost not understandable. It says that Moses got the explanation. Moshe got the explanation. But no one else could understand it. So what is this red cow? On page 39. Oh, wonderful. Here. Here. What is the red cow? We spoke about this yesterday. The whole commandment of the red cow, it's one thing that makes no sense among other things that make no sense. There is in Judaism a thing which is called purity and impurity. A person that touches a dead body, he becomes impure. A dead body itself is called a grandfather, an avi avos, a tuma. Someone who touches a dead body becomes a father of tuma. What he touches becomes the number one of tuma. Tuma means impurity. Some sort of spiritual holy temple impurity. It doesn't mean that you have bad thoughts or that you have to keep away from everybody else or anything. It's just you can't go into the temple. You can't touch any sanctified things like truma and etc. Very complicated laws involved. Of course, the interesting thing about it is you can't see this impurity. You can't feel it. You can't sense it. There's no way that it can be detected by anybody, right, this impurity. If an impure person comes into a room, you have no way of knowing that he's impure, unless maybe some sort of a person with extrasensory perception, some tzaddik. But it's a purely Torah law, impurity. And there's a whole entire, the whole section of the Talmud, of the Mishnayot, Tahorot, that deal only with these laws. Very complicated and beautiful laws also, but they're very complicated. So it said that the ultimate impurity is if that a person touches a dead body. If a Jew, touches a dead body, or is in the same room with a dead body, or goes over a dead body, or a dead body goes over him, or he lifts up a dead body by means of a stick or something like that. So that person is impure for the rest of his life. He can never go to the Holy Temple. Never. Beautiful Holy Temple. Everyone's going happy. He can never go to the Holy Temple for the rest of his life unless he has the ashes of this red cow sprinkled on him. What do you mean the ashes? They have to take a special red cow that they never found, that never worked, and there's no blemishes, and all the hairs on it are red. And they slaughter it in a special way outside of the camp. It's the only sacrifice that's made outside of the Holy Temple. Outside, and then it's burned, and then you take it with the wood and etc., and that becomes the ashes of this. And if you sprinkle a little bit of these ashes on someone, a little bit, doesn't have to cover the person, one drop sprinkled on a person, that makes him pure. You have to sprinkle on the third day and on the seventh day. Right? You start counting whenever you want. Third day of your counting, the third day and the seventh day are. There are certain restrictions on counting, but nevertheless, that's what it is. You sprinkle on the third day and on the seventh day, and then the person is pure. Right? So that's the subject of this week's Torah portion that we're reading here in the land of Israel. Outside of Israel, they're reading about Parshas Korach. Here they're reading about this. This is called the Chukat Torah. That's how it says, V'yedaber Hashem Moshe v'Aaron v'mor zos Chukat Torah. This is the statute of the Torah. It doesn't say this is the statute of the para, of the Torah. Somehow or other, the whole entire Torah is contained in this commandment. Which that already doesn't make any sense because a lot of the Torah is understandable. In fact, that's the whole point of the Torah. You're supposed to understand. So what is this? This law is the whole Torah. You can't understand it. How is this typical of the whole Torah? Can't understand. So the Rebbe said that now there's 3 types of commandments. What are the 3 types of commandments? Close, but totally wrong. 3 types of commandments. There are mishpatim, edus, and chukim. Mishpatim are commandments that everybody understands. Every society has laws that are logical to make law and order. Don't steal, don't kill, don't commit adultery. Then there are laws which are religious laws. Religious laws. These are laws that are called edut. They testify on something. These are laws which are not logical, but once you do them, you give them a reason, they're logical. Like religion. Put on tefillin. Why should I put on tefillin? Because it links your head, your mind, and your heart to God. No, okay, I would never do it on my own, this tefillin thing. But now that it's given, I can understand it. On Passover, you have to eat these big wafers. It costs, $20 a pound or something like that. Why do I have to eat those things? I'll just go to the store and I'll buy for 35 cents. I'll buy some wafers. What's the big deal? He says, no, this reminds us of going out of Egypt, and these matzahs have to be made very, very carefully. There shouldn't be one drop of water that touched the flour before you started making the matzah. Before you made the dough. Before you made the dough, does that make any sense? Doesn't make any sense. But once the law is given, so it sort of makes sense. We're doing it because the Jews ate matzah when they left Egypt, etc.
Did they have to follow a recipe or no?
The recipe was a very simple recipe. Water and flour. Good?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's move on.
Let's move on, yeah. You got that. See, in this yeshiva we teach not only Torah, but also how to be a chef. That's your first lesson. First lesson, right. Cooking matzah. Okay, all right.
That was fun.
Yes. Ready? I mean, on one hand, Judaism is very simple, but on the other hand, it's very deep. It's very deep. So sometimes your point is a very good point. What's the point? Does it really make any sense? Okay, calm down. Does it really make any sense that this is really what God wants? Right? This is really what God wants. God wants you to take flour and water. By the way, what is chometz? Chometz is one of the worst sins in the Torah, is to eat chometz on Pesach. What's chometz made of? Huh? It's water and flour, the exact same thing. Water and flour. But if you leave it unworked on for a certain amount of time in a regular temperature room, if it's a warm room, then even just a couple minutes, then it becomes the same exact ingredients, becomes one of the worst sins in the Torah, to eat chometz on Pesach.
That's the worst.
One of the worst, yes. The punishment is koret. Punishment is getting cut off from Hashem. That's what the punishment is. I mean, maybe nowadays God is not so exacting about his punishments. No. That's impurity. That's a different thing. That person would die before he was 60 years old. Correct. He would die before. Now we see people eating chometz, eating whatever they want to, and they live to 120 years old. But okay, the Alter Rebbe explains it in the book Tanya. He explains this in Igeres HaTshuva, why nowadays the punishments don't come exactly after the sin. He explains it. Not in punishment death. Yeah, that's right. If a person defiles Shabbos on purpose and there's no witnesses, the same punishment. Correct. The person gets cut off. Cut off means that his source of life gets cut off, and he dies when he's 60. But that was only in the time when the temple is. Nowadays, the source of life is all confused. So we're not receiving from such a high place as before. It's like a person who's a brain surgeon, right? He goes like this, a little wrong, and that's it. But a person who's a street sweeper, he can do whatever he wants to. Right? No problem. When we were in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, we were all like brain surgeons. We were connected to God. God was very, very exact with us because we had a lot of responsibility. That's right, very fine. And now God's not so exacting anymore, which is a good thing, because if he was, we'd be in bad shape. Or we wouldn't be at all any shape. Right? We wouldn't be in any shape at all.
We'll be in heaven.
Maybe, if we're lucky. You would.
We would just
But I don't know about me. What? Go on.
we would just be dead.
Yes. That would-
Hopefully in heaven, not hell.
We'll see. We'll talk about this later. These are what we call extraneous topics. You know what extraneous topics means? It's not on the subject. Very interesting things, but not on the subject. Let's go. This week's Torah portion, we're talking about the red cow. The red cow was what we call a chuk. There are mitzvahs which are called mishpatim. There are mitzvahs called edus. That's what we're talking about. And there's mitzvahs which are called chukim. A chuk is our commandments that have no understanding. They're not understandable. You do it only because God wants. Now, in fact, all the commandments are that. All the commandments are God's will. Right? Doesn't make really any sense why God cares if you kill, you shouldn't kill. Why does he care if you kill or not? I mean, in the end, everybody, like Zechariah says, in the end, everybody dies anyway. So, yeah, it's a few years, big deal. Not so bad. And in fact, there are a lot of societies where killing was no problem. Exactly the opposite. It was very revered and honored. People would go into duels with each other. Okay, so really all the commandments, even the most logical commandments like don't kill, really are chukim. They really are not understandable. Why? Because why does God care if we steal or we don't kill? What does he care? It makes such a big difference to him. God is creating the world, right? Or let's say according to the normal religious people, God created the world a few thousand or million or billion, whatever it is, years ago, and he just let the thing go. And that's the world's goes. So why should God all of a sudden care that this person, he put on his tefillin wrong, or he ate, milk cooked it together with meat? God really cares about this. What type of a God is that? Who wants a God like that? You ate milk and meat. Oh, it's a little night on Shabbos, right? You're going to get it. What type of a God is it? So he says, basically all the commandments are chukim. But let's deal first of all with this commandment. Because this commandment is the one that's called chuk. And it's not just called a chuk, it's called Chukat HaTorah. The whole Torah is contained in this commandment of the red cow. Good?
The whole thing.
Huh?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. That's why it says in the week's Parshat, Zot Chukat HaTorah. This is the law, this is the chuk, the statute, or whatever it's called, the unexplainable law of the Torah. Open the door, please. It's very, very warm in here. Should we try to make this thing work or no?
It is on. You sure?
No, it's not on.
Yeah, it is.
You feel it?
That's why I'm sitting here, so you don't get anybody back. It's not very blunt. You want to try it? Is that on?
If you say it's on, it's on.
I think it's on.
What is the wonder of the para aduma? What is the not understandable? This is a chuk. So he says two things. You missed this yesterday. On one end, the para aduma is made, the only sacrifice was done outside of the camp.
There's also it was the only sacrifice that can purify someone and give purification.
They're very good. The pure become impure. All the people that worked with the paraduma, they become impure. And the one that gets the red cow ashes sprinkled on him, he becomes pure. So what do the waters do? Do they make people pure or not pure? Answer, both. So if they do both, so how do you know who gets what? He said that's what the Torah decided. The Torah decided that if these ashes are sprinkled on someone that is impure from death, he becomes purified. And those people that work to make the ashes, they get impure.
So how does it have to be poured on the person?
What? It's just sprinkled. They take some. They take some. No. They take
Oh,
a.
it is up.
They take a hyssop. It's explained exactly.
What
They
if
take.
what if they do it on themselves and the person? Because then they're impure because they worked on it.
No, when they sprinkle, they become impure. I think the one who sprinkles it becomes impure or not. I have to
I think
look.
somebody else is sprinkled.
Anyway, no, automatically. Anyone who works with it to make it becomes impure, whether it gets sprinkled on him or not.
Cannot non-Jew do it?
No. Has to be done by a Jew. All the commandments have. Vadeber Bnei Israel, the Jews have to be. That itself is a chok. What difference does it make between a Jew and a non-Jew? Hashem decided. Okay. So it says that the time when Moshe Rabbeinu heard that there was such a thing as impurity from death, as he shook, he almost passed out. When God told him the law of the red cow, so he settled back down.
Wasn't he was also impure because he also killed?
An Egyptian.
Yeah.
Egyptian. But
Who
he's
knows how many bodies he walked over, walked by?
only Jewish bodies. Only Jewish bodies. And when they were in the desert, they were careful to mark all the bodies. So the people, that's why we make gravestones. So that people won't walk over the dead bodies. Okay, Mishum, because. Mishum, because. What does the red cow do? Shepara Aduma, the red cow, Yochala is able Litaher to make pure Gam Tumat Mate. It can take away even the impurity of death. How? Al Yada, because by means of it, by means of the Para Aduma, Nimshacha was drawn down, Yud Gimel Midot HaRachamim, the 13 aspects of mercy. When do we talk about this 13 aspects of mercy? We're on page 40. 13 aspects of mercy. What are the 13 aspects of God's mercy? When do we say that? You know what this is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Like something you say, I don't know.
Close, but totally wrong. When we say hallelujah, you don't say the 13 aspects of mercy. You say it when you say tachanun. We say Hashem, Hashem, Kel Rachum Chanun. Right after the repetition of the Shemon Esrei, then there's the part where you hit there, right? And then after that it says Kel Rachum Chanun. Maybe we'll get up to. Could you, Zachariah? Could you bring us a siddur, please?
Okay.
Tachanun's for
What?
I got it.
Leave the door open. Leave the door open.
I
Oh,
got it.
Ashkenaz don't say tachanun.
No, they don't say the Fetz
Oh, they don't. Okay, that's new. I didn't know that. Yeah, he's going to bring her. No. I don't know.
No, you don't. You don't say you don't do the
That's enough.
Well, this is Ashkenaz siddur? Ah. No, he's right. They don't do it, no. Maybe they don't do it because it's dangerous or something. Who knows? There's some people that don't put their head down. But here, this is the 13 attributes of mercy. Very good. And we say, Hashem, Hashem, Keil Rachum V'Chanun. God, God. You are the Lord that is merciful, and let's see how he translates it. Lord, Lord, benevolent God, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and truth. He preserves kindness for 2,000 generations, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, and he cleanses.
It's in the video.
Yeah, very good. No, it's not here. This is not it. He showed me the same thing.
Didn't show you the right page. That's over here.
In any case, that's what it is here.
At the bottom.
There we go. Very good. Yes. That's right. Same thing. This is an Ashkenaz siddur? Yeah, so it has the 13 attributes. I'm surprised that
Some do, but most don't.
this is what? Vidui. Vidui Yud Yom Midas Rachim. No, this is, you don't say this? It's in this book, I don't know.
No, it's great. It's only that it says. Yeah, some do, some don't.
Oh, some do and some don't. Okay, we are the some that do. So it says, where do the 13 attributes of mercy come from? No. The 13 attributes of mercy come from the sin of the golden calf.
Yeah, he was up there for 40 days and he was given,
Nah.
no? You sure?
Moses came down after 40 days.
Yeah,
And he saw all the Jewish people worshiping the golden calf.
right.
And he said, God, forgive them. And God gave him the secret of the
But isn't that when he would have ascended the second 40 days?
the second 40 days, when he received the second 40 days. I have to look and see, but I think it was right before. And he said, or either it was the beginning or the end of the second 40 days. In any case, God wanted to wipe out all the Jewish people. He wanted to wipe them all out. Either they participated or they passively participated. They didn't do anything to stop the people that were sinning. But in any case, God wanted to wipe them out. So Moshe prayed for the Jewish people. And God said, okay, I'm going to give you a trick to pray to me.
How do they passively?
They just didn't do anything. They didn't stop. The people,
What if they didn't know what to do?
they should have yelled out. They should have known of idolatry. It's a commandment. A person has to worry for his friend. You see everybody worshiping idolatry, you have to say something.
They didn't have the commandments yet.
What? They heard the first 2 commandments from Mount Sinai. They all heard. The 10 commandments, for sure they heard. They heard themselves. The first 2 commandments they heard directly from God, and the other 8 they heard from Moshe. So they heard the 10 commandments. Then Moshe went up on Mount Sinai.
After, wasn't it?
No. We celebrate the holiday of Shavuos, the 7th day of Sivan. Right? Moshe came down with the tablets and he broke them. It was on Yud Zayin Tammuz. That's 40 days later. 40 days later, he broke the tablets. On Sivan, the Jewish people got the Torah. What do you mean they got the Torah? They got the 10 commandments. They all heard the 10 commandments. God spoke the first 2, and the Jews said, we can't take any more. So they got 8 more. They got 8 more. Moshe spoke, and they all heard the 10 commandments. So everybody knew, all the Jewish people knew, I am God that took you out of Egypt. Don't worship other gods. They all knew it. And what did they do 40 days? They made another god. They worshipped another god. So they had their reasons, and they had the Yetzer Hora, and they had their thing. I mean, we can't judge them too harshly, but on the other hand, God did judge them.
Didn't someone throw in the name of Hashem when they were making it?
That's how they made it. How they made it, but they wanted to make it. They wanted to. Right, it says, Rashi is saying this Parshat Kitisa. You see the whole thing. Okay, let's take a short break. Let's go.